Welcome to the 17 Law Studio. And as you can see behind me, I'm in a city. I wonder if you can guess what it is. Now, if you listen to one of my previous videos, I did another video right here as well. So just take the guesswork out in case you can't figure it out. Nashville, Tennessee. By the way, I'm not getting paid by the city of Nashville, but I think it's a really cool city. And man, just amazing restaurants, a lot of things happening around here. I can look out at my window uh, and just there's stuff happening here all day long. It's pretty neat city. Not a big fan of the traffic where I live. We don't have that thing called traffic. So this is something. But I'm right in the heart of the city, so I don't have to go anywhere. So the traffic's a non-issue, and there's plenty to walk to. Anyway, today we're going to talk a little more about hey, my kids are driving me crazy. My kids, oh my gosh, I can't get them to do anything, and there's so much advice out there that oh my gosh, it's the craziest advice, and people have bought into this, and some of it is. My kids just need to figure it out for themselves. No, they don't. That's why they have you, the parent. And then we have a lot of parents who have advocated the role, and they're going to say, "Hey, I'm just not going to raise my children. I'm going to let the church or the school or the coach or whoever raise my child." And you don't really say that out loud, but that's what people do. I've seen it way too much. They go get mad at the principal. I've got a good friend who's a principal, and people get mad at her because the parents not doing their job, which is funny because, oh no, we're sending them to school. You're supposed to raise my child and teach them all the values, and I've got friends who are in the school system. They'll say the same thing. It's like, oh, in fact, I know parents of teachers they know which child has a good relationship and the parents are active in their lives and which aren't. And now, if you're watching, I realize not every child has a situation that he's around a parent. But if you're watching this, I'm assuming you're a parent or a guardian or something. So you're that guy or that girl that's going to be raising the kids. The back in the I guess it was right before Christmas, one of our local schools asked for volunteers to teach a class for a couple hours because they want to do something really real cool Christmas program for the teachers, all of them at the same time, and have real food catered and a real speaker, and just make it special. And they asked for volunteers in the community, and of course they had to clear you and all that. So I went, and the mayor and I actually had these young kids. It was actually really, really cool. But I could tell you, even in that class, it was obvious to me. I could probably say, okay, you probably have a good home situation with your parents. You probably don't. I could probably have guessed on those. I might have been wrong a little, but it's obvious, and I get it. Not everybody has that opportunity, and I know there's different people trying to raise. We we've got friends and family in foster care who have volunteered to keep foster kids, and I get it. I get it. I really do. Sometimes you don't have these kids don't have a choice. So, but where there is a choice and there is a parent, and you happen to be watching this, then hey, that's who I'm talking to. I realize the crazies out there, but uh, well, just recently I saw a mom trying to get her 2-year-old to do something, and tried to reason with the 2-year-old, and then reason with the 2-year-old, and then keep reasoning with the 2-year-old, and this 2-year-old still wouldn't do it. You know, he's a 2-year-old. She's a 2-year-old. You don't reason with 2-year-olds. I mean, it's just not something you do. Hey, I need you to do this. I need you to do it now, or bad things happen. I mean, we're not going to beat the kid or anything. I'm just saying, well, there's going to be consequences for not listening to me. And so I've been around where a little kid hits another little kid or hurts him or whatever. Hey, you need to apologize. No, you know because of this. You need to apologize. No, you need to no. What? I'm not going to have a argument with a 2-year-old. I will win that argument. You're going to apologize. That wasn't a request. That's not something I have to discuss. I don't even have to explain myself. You just, if a kid has no more respect, well, no, the real reason is, and I talk about this a lot. You've heard me say this. The reason they didn't have to apologize, the reason that you're having these conversations, because your word is no good. When they know that they don't really have to obey you, then they don't. Isn't that true? I mean, if they said you can't rob a bank, but if you go back there and get as much money as you want, we're not really going to say anything. What are you going to do? Uh, I probably still not going to steal anybody's money, but I can tell you, there's a certain number of people in the world who'd say, "You mean there's no consequence? I just go get all I want?" Yeah. Well, th- that's just how things work. If there are no consequences, I don't care how old you are, then it gets crazy. Um, so, what do you? So, what are the consequences? If I say to my 2 year old, you need to apologize, and they say no, well, I don't know your 2 year old, but it needs to be something that that you have to deal with. And I don't. And somebody says, do you believe in spanking? Do you not spank? Or people who always ask me about spanking. We don't believe in spanking. We don't believe in spanking. Well, uh, I would say that it's probably never been not this. I think it's always the case. And that is people who tell me that they don't believe in spanking. What they're really telling me is they don't believe in disciplining their child. They don't have the heart, or they want to be their child's friend and not the parent. Well, because you want your child to like you. Well, guess what? They're not going to respect you. They may have fun with you, but they're not gonna respect you, and that's not what's best for the child either. To not have boundaries and repercussions for being stupid. So uh, when people say, "Do you spank or not spank?" Well, whatever your convictions are, but I can tell you that if you don't have any consequences for your actions, they're not going to listen to you. So maybe you don't spank, and most of these parents don't discipline, but maybe depending on how old they are. Say if they're 16 and he weighs, he's 6'2" and weighs 200 pounds, is a spanking going to work? And if you have to spank a 2 year old, how hard would you spank a 2 year old to get their attention? It'd be more like a love tap would probably freak them out. Or don't spank them, but you're going to take a toy away, or you're going to take the iPhone away, or the iPad, or you no basketball practice this week, or you're grounded this weekend, or there's going to be some sort of there's got to be consequences, and you know your child more better than anybody. Well, I hope you do, and you figure out what those consequences are. And I don't want to hit a gnat with a sledgehammer. So if I told my kid to take out the garbage before he went to school and he didn't, am I going to ground him for a month? No. I'm probably going to try to find out why he didn't. Chances are he forgot. He didn't think about it. But once again, is forgetting an accept or excuse to not do what you say you're going to do. If I ask, does it work at work? If they say, "Hey, you were supposed to do this, and it cost us a lot of money," and you say, "Oh, I forgot." I didn't think about it. You forgot. No, you got to figure out what. That's part of the training process with our kids. It's like I forget things. So what do? I have my calendar, and every day I set my alarm throughout the day. At 10, I need to do this. At 11, I need to do this, and I'll set it. Or if somebody will say, "Hey, will you call me in an hour?" I'm probably going to blink and 2 hours pass. And now I can't say I'm going to forget. I will set. I will do the whole "Hey Siri, set my alarm" thing, and then uh, so forgetting is not an excuse. You can't. I know the trash. I'm not gonna lose my mind because they forgot to take out the trash. I'll say, "Hey, you need to do it," and then I want to. This is a teaching moment. You need to set your alarm when I ask you to do something. And now, actually, like especially a couple kids that they'll set alarms now on their calendars, and getting a better job of figuring out how to, because we get busy and we all forget stuff. But that's not an excuse. But back to the discipline part. this is ties into it. Forgetting's not an excuse. Well, why didn't you do what I said? Oh, I forgot. Uh, this is another way that I look at it. If you tell me you're going to do something and you don't do it, I think you lied to me. Oh, I forgot. No, 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 no. You told me that you were going to do something. And who wants to be that guy as a parent? And parents, one of the things that you teach your kid on these things is that are you a man of your word, a woman of your word? So, and your kids pick up on that. They know which parent to go to for this or that. I mean, they've got you guys figured out. They've trained you well. They know if dad says no, you can go to mom and you'll get a yes, or vice versa. And they figured that stuff out. And by the way, I'm so against that. In our world, my wife and I, we were on the exact same page for years and years and forever. If the rule in our house was if you ask dad and he says no and you go ask mom, you're in trouble because you already got your no. And they knew mom and dad were together they were on the exact same page. There was no reason to go ask mom if dad said no or ask dad if mom said no. There was no reason to because I'm going to support and if I find out you already asked your mom, then you're going to be in trouble. There are consequences because that's just not, that's sneaky. But we don't do sneaky. We don't do con man stuff in our house. Now, I have had where they would come to me uh, and say, "Hey, mom said no to this, but we really want to do it. Could y'all chat about it? Is there any way y'all could?" I already asked her, and again she said no, but could you go talk to her about it? And it might be something I went to her and said, "Hey, here's some information you may not have. I really think they ought to be able to do it." Well, then I'd let her go to them and say, "You know what? The more I think about it, yeah, I didn't realize this, so yeah, let's go ahead and do this." So we would have reasonable conversations. We didn't dig our heels in the sand just oh, I'm right, and so we'll always do it my way. But and we're reasonable about it. And it's happened the other way. I said no, and I go to mom and say, "Hey, dad said no, but blah 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 blah," and she might say, "Well, go tell him that." I'm sure if you tell him that, he'll say, "Oh, okay, well, thanks. Yeah, then of course we can do it." And that happened too. And they realized they could come to me and talk to me. And I said no, there's another thing I want to share with you. Another thing, this is all about discipline, and my kids drive me crazy. It's because we're not honest with them and we're not reasonable with them. And depending on how old they are, like if they want to do something or they don't do something, I do want them to know why. I like the heart of it. And I have this in the story in my book. So my son, he was throwing a baseball against the wall in his bedroom, knocking dents in the wall. I said, "Man, we don't throw the baseball against the wall." And then next thing you know it, next day I hear boom, 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 over there. He's throwing the basketball against the wall. I'm like, what the heck? I said, "Hey, we don't throw anything against." I didn't tell him he didn't. I just told him the baseball the first night. And his little 4-year-old logic thought, okay, I won't throw the baseball against the wall. So he was obeying, and his heart was to obey. And then I had to, hey, this is a house, and we got to be good stewards of it and take care of it. We don't throw anything in the house or anybody else that see us damaging. And it's going to cost money, and then we're going to have to spend a whole Saturday doing that instead of just kind of trying to explain the heart, get to the heart where they'll want to do the right thing, not just legislate morality, which you can't do. I want the heart. I don't have to go or the baseball. Oh, you can't throw the basketball. Oh, you can't throw the soccer ball. I got to give you no. There's just some things we as parents are supposed to teach our kids. If we've not advocated that to the church or the school, the coach, or whoever else that is. So when we're uh, not being honest with our children, it's things like this. I'm going to tell you one more time, and then you're going to blank, and then you're really going to be in trouble. But you do tell them one more time, and they're still not in trouble. You're not a. They don't believe you. You have no integrity in that area with your children. You have to have integrity. My children know to this day if I say it, it's going to happen. And sometimes it got me in a pickle. It really did. One of the uh, times, I mean, I'm halfway kidding around, but the kids were making confetti in church, and I said, "Hey, I'll give you $20 if you can get it in that lady's hair in front of us and not and without her knowing." And I'm halfway kidding, but they did it because they knew if I said it was going to happen. They're like, "Oh, I just made $20." It's like, yeah. I really didn't want to be a part of. Actually, I thought it was kind of funny, but a lot of goofy things like that. I told my one daughter that if she went to this, we were driving down the road, and she said, "I want a new laptop. What can I do for money to get a new laptop?" I said, "Well, if you'll go into the Holiday Inn Express over here and to the front desk and try to convince them the British are coming, I'll get you a laptop." And and she knew that if she did that, I would go get her laptop. And we're kind of doing some fun things, and that's kind of extreme. But on discipline, if I said, uh, if you do this, if you don't clean your room, whatever, today, then there will be consequences. And they knew there was going to be consequences, and they didn't have to wonder. I didn't, we had a saying at our house: obey the first time, or give me a good reason why you can't. Because I always want to be reasonable. Several times I've said to our kids, I've said, "Hey, I need you to run outside and get this, and we need to do this, or we got to run, we got to be out the door in 5 minutes," things like that. And and they'll say, "Hey, uh, I'm in the bathroom," or uh, I'm still on the phone with my coach. Can I have 5 more minutes?" Or they'll explain, and or it could be, "Hey, tomorrow we're going to the lake." And one of them said, and I said, "So you need to be ready by 9." And one might say, "Well, actually, I was planning on doing this at 9. Any chance we could do it at 10? Or I've had this other plan over here. Is there anything? Can we do this?" And it's like, "Oh, well, yeah, yeah. I didn't know that. Yeah, not a problem." But because I'm always going to be reasonable, uh, and I think your kids pick up and respect that. And so when you say, "Oh, they don't listen to me," well, it's your fault. You don't have a stupid kid. It's your fault as a parent because there's no concept. They don't have to listen to you. There's no reason to listen to you, but they have the capacity to listen because they do all the time. They do. At school, they listen all the time. At ball practice, they listen all the time. At church, they listen all the time. I mean, they're capable. They just don't listen to you because they don't believe you because you have no integrity. What you say has to be golden. And I don't like that manipulative. I don't like being jicky. I say if I tell the kids something, they know it's going to happen. They don't have to wonder. In fact, they kid around about that now. They laugh and they said, "Oh, no, no. If Dad said it, it's so." And there's this other saying I've always said: do what you say you're going to do, even if it's expensive, even if it's time consuming or painful. You do what you say you're going to do. I've told people, "Hey, yes, I will help you with blank." Uh, and then it turned out to be a 10,000% more of a headache than I ever imagined. But I said, I told him I'd do it. So I did it. I've been on I agreed to be on a board or leadership team or whatever the case may be. And I thought, oh my gosh, I so wish I hadn't have done this. Oh, I don't want to do this. But I told him I'd do it. Oh, it's for a year. I'm going to finish out the year. I'm going to finish out the 2 year term because I told him I'd do it. Now, if I moved away or had a health issue or something happened, yeah, I mean, there's something like that. But just because I don't want to do it, nah. You do what you say you're going to do, even if it's painful, expensive, right? Even if it's tough, even if it's hard, even if it's more time consuming, even if you do what you say you're going to do. And so when your children know you do what you say you're going to do, when they know when dad and mom mean what they say, and you say, "Stop the attitude," you know what they do? They stop the attitude because they know bad things are going to happen this quick. I'm not going to yell at you and get mad at you and slam doors and we're going to drag this out 30, 45 minutes and then say, get to a place where we're going to get rid of the attitude. That doesn't even make sense. No, we're not going to have the attitude right now. I'm not going to argue with a 2 year old or reason or no, I'm not arguing with a 2 year old right now. Now, like with a 2 year old, don't, if you're yelling across the room, don't touch that. Hey, I said don't touch. How many more times I got to? No, no. That's kind of what you do. No, I'm not going to say anything to a 2 year old that I can't enforce. So if he's doing something he's not supposed to be doing, or she is, then I need to be within arm's length before I tell them to do something. Because what are they going to do if you tell them not to touch that from across the room? What? They're going to touch it, right? Darn near 100% of the time. So you got to be over there. So you're going to say, they don't listen, don't listen, don't listen. No, you're an idiot. You can't reason with a 2 year old. Now that don't stick your finger in that socket over there. It's going to hurt. That's bad. No, that's where you get an owie and you get all this. And no, you go there and you say no. You don't touch that, and you're within arm's length. If they don't touch it, you remove them from the situation, or you remove whatever it is they're about to touch from the situation. No, we don't argue with 2 year olds, and that goes along with you. Don't threaten anything you can't back up. I have done this. I think I did it once. I said, I'm never doing this again. I said, you do that. If you do this one more time, or hey, I was nice to you about it. I really mean it. If I see that again, you are grounded for the weekend. Or I've not necessarily said one more time. I might just say, I got upset or something. I'll say, hey, we're grounded for the weekend. And then it's like, oh, dang, you know what? I was wanting to go to the lake on Saturday. I was wanting to do all these other things, and now I can't go because you're grounded. I've got to stay home too because you're 9 or whatever. I'm just making up names and situations, but I have done that where I've really ruined our whole weekend because I said we're going to do this this week where you're grounded for the weekend, and it's like and I've also said. Um, Told them, hey, you're not going to go to ball practice this week. And I said, oh, man, I regretted that because it hurts the team and the coach. I didn't really think that through. It really made no sense. And it really wasn't fair that, hey, this kid did something and everybody else got punished for it. I try not to do that when I can. So over the years, my wife and I would get together and discuss things like, okay, if they do this, these are the consequences. Or if it's something big, you wait till your father gets home. Isn't going to be because I'm going to be this big monster that comes in and makes you mine? No, it's because we're going to discuss the situation and we're going to attack with a united front, saying, "Hey, this is you did this, and these are the consequences." Uh, because I don't want to. I want to. I'm going to do what I say I'm going to do, and if I just blatantly say, "Don't touch that," but you touch it anyway and there's no consequences, then my word's no good, right? Or if I say to my 10-year-old, put your iPhone down, and he doesn't, and nothing happens, when are you a man of integrity? Is it the first time you tell him, the second or third or fourth or seventh time you tell him put his iPhone down and come to dinner or don't bring it to the dinner table? Uh, that's they know that your word's no good, your word's no good, your word's no good. Oh, it's about when his voice is here, his integrity kicks in and he actually means what he says at this level. That's what that means. And I get it. And I tell you, being a single mom is one of the hardest things on the planet. And I get it. You're tired. It's like, oh, I'm just tired of fighting, and I'm just tired of. It's more tiring not to do this. It's more tiring to give them three, four, five, six, seven chances and yell and all that. That's more tiring to do those things. You think, I don't have enough energy to do it tonight. Well, obey the first time. It that that's what we do. We obey the first time, or give me a good reason why you can't. The other thing is we obey with a good attitude, or it's the same because obeying with a bad attitude is the same thing as disobeying. Part of the doing what I ask is doing it with a good attitude. It's all encompassing. So if I ask you to go clean your room, and you go in there and slam the door and start throwing your clothes in there, and they're going, what? I'm cleaning my room. Same punishment as same bad things are going to happen as if you didn't clean your room. We don't. Attitude is part of the thing that we don't have. Now I can get it if kids are frustrated. I want to talk a little bit about that too. But you don't obey with a bad attitude. We're not slamming doors. We're not doing these things. And one of the sayings we've had around our house, we don't treat anybody outside the family any better than we treat anybody inside the family. We're not going to talk to mom and dad ugly and then go talk to our friends sweetly. And the mom and dad, we're not going to talk to the kids and like they're slaves, nasty, dogs and all this, and then go talk to our friends really sweetly. We're not going to do it either. Uh, so but the attitudes with teenagers or kids or whatever, I just want to make sure that we're not the reason for the attitudes. It is wrong for us to be the ones that frustrate our children. I see it all the time. Hey, I need you to come over here and do this now. And they're in the middle of something. You know how frustrating that is? You're playing, yeah, maybe they're 9 or 10 and they're playing a game and they're all excited and they're right there. And then you drag them away to do something stupid, something that could have waited. And then they're upset about it. And you say, well, you got to have bad. Yeah, they still need to have a good attitude, but man, you know what? It's hard. You caused that bad attitude, mom or dad. There's no reason why you need it. So I don't want to be the reason for the bad attitude. Well, y'all just don't listen to me. Well, that mom and dad, if they're not listening to you, that's your fault. That is your fault. It is, and I get it. I get it. There's split homes where they live one week here, and the dad allows them to do everything, and then they're over at your house for a week, and then you gotta undo what's over there for. You have some of that stuff, but you still gotta undo it. As hard as it is, you still have to. But you can't be the reason for the attitude when they're with you. Um, so some of the things that we've always done and always recommend, and that is giving people proper expectations. One of the things that frustrates, uh, like mom puts dinner on the table and then she announces dinner's on the table, expecting everybody to stop what they're doing and come right then. And then she's mad when they don't. Well, that's not reasonable. This person's in the bathroom, in the shower. Well, why'd you start taking a shower? You know dinner was ready. Well, no, I didn't know dinner was ready. Somebody else is on the phone with their boyfriend, girlfriend, whatever, and well, you need to hang up the phone right now. You know how frustrating that is. So giving better expectations will resolve a lot of this. And so, hey, mom, what time is dinner going to be ready? Oh, it's going to be ready at say 6. Okay, great. Hey guys, it's 5:30. In 30 minutes, dinner's going to be ready. All right. And if I see them out there at 5:15 and they're about to start a basketball game with the neighbors, you can go out there and start that basketball game, but in 15 minutes, I need you at the dinner table. See, that's reasonable. There's no reason for them. And then at 6 o'clock comes, I say, hey, at 6 o'clock, I need you at the dinner table. They may say, hey, we got it's 19-20. Can we finish the game? The first one to 21 wins. And I might say, yeah, sure. What's another goal? And I might say, no, your mom's expecting you because maybe we need you right now because we're in a hurry too. So, but I'm going to be reasonable about it. But I'm setting all the expectations. So we're going somewhere the next day. Hey guys, we're going to leave. We need to be in the car in the driveway, leaving by 9 o'clock in the morning. So set your alarms. If you got to wash your hair, you got to do this, you got to do this at 9. And then it might be about 8:30 in the morning. I'm saying, hey everybody, we're leaving in wheels up in 30. Wheels up in 30, everyone. I'm kind of giving them a heads up. And then but at 9, you better be in that car. I've been reasonable. I've given you heads up. I've given you a game plan. By golly, you better be in that car. Bad things are going to happen. And I'm not a tyrant. I mean, the punishment will fit the crime. I don't know why they uh, wouldn't be there at 9, but if they got there at 9:05 or they forgot or got on their phone and reading they're watching videos for 30 minutes, that's why they're late. Yeah, probably not going to get the phone for a day or two because that phone was part of the culprit. So I always like setting expectations. Always when we're leaving. Oh, what time are we going to do this? Hey, tomorrow we're going to do this. Hey, the next day this is going to happen, and it helps on that because if it's Friday and you tell your teenager, hey, tomorrow we're going to cut firewood or mow or we got to clean out the barn or whatever it is you have to clean out garage, whatever. And then they go, oh gosh, I've already planned on doing this, and see, we didn't. We got to do a better job of hey guys, next Saturday we're going to clean out the barn. Hey, next Saturday we're going to do. Hey, it's coming up on. Let me know if y'all have anything. I'm going to set the better you do as a parent in setting expectations, the better it's going to be, and not having an attitude. Expectations too might be homework time, or you got to have certain grades, or you got to do, I don't want you if you're going to play in basketball, you got to practice so much, or baseball, whatever it is that you're about, ballet, whatever it is that you're doing. There's maybe some of that in there as well. So I hope that helps on dealing with attitudes and obeying. Some other little thing, I mentioned, hey, I'm not going to. If it's a little kid, I need to be in a position to enforce anything I say. I've driven down the road before, and we had a Suburban at the time. The kids were in the back, and they knew I couldn't reach them, and so I couldn't. They felt like they could get away with doing anything and driving their mom crazy, and so you know I pulled over on the side of the interstate one time, off the exit there, and dealt with the situation. They didn't think I would, and I told them I would, and so I did, and I dealt with it. And you know what? They never questioned me again. They knew if I said something, I'll pull over. They knew. Well, he means it. I would pull over in a pouring down rainstorm till I got soaking wet. I wish I hadn't have said it, because, but I had to do it because I told him I'm a man of my word. So I told him I would do it. So you got to be in a position to enforce uh, what you toss out there. And if you can't, then it might be like I had one kid as he was driving at the time and having an attitude about something. You can't do that. And I said, I call. He was about to go to school, and I said, meet me at this parking lot. And I left my office and I met him and dealt with it in person, because I wasn't gonna. I couldn't really deal with it over the phone. I wasn't in a way. I couldn't enforce it. Couldn't really have the conversation I wanted to have over the phone. I needed to go there. And sometimes you might say, hey, we'll deal with it when you get home. You might have some of that. But if you can't enforce it and you can't really do it justice, I'd rather wait till the afternoon. Now, obviously, if you're 1,000 miles away, you may have to deal with it by phone or something along those lines. But if it's possible, the best way is deal with it in person, where you can enforce it. Like with a toddler, hey, I'm not going to tell him don't touch that if I'm not there beside him to make sure that he's. I'm going to enforce what I just asked. Something else with toddlers and sharing. Uh, they got uh, they're not good at sharing, as you well know. But one of the rules we always have with our kids is whatever you bring out in public, you're going to share, or don't bring it out in public. It's not fair to everybody else and it's not blanket everything you share. I'm not going to share my laptop with anybody or my phone with anybody, except my wife if she wants it. But if like a toy, if they have their favorite toy, I mean, it's gonna it just makes it so weird for everybody. If they're gonna play with this really cool toy in front of everybody, nobody else can touch it. That's weird. So don't bring it out, or we're gonna share, and we're gonna share with a good attitude too. So that helps. And part of the world of teaching your kid is to share, right? So give him something he can share. So if you want to go get their favorite toy and tell him he has to share it, when you're asking a 4-year-old a lot, or a 2-year-old, or a 6-year-old, you're asking them to share something that's really precious to them. That's like coming to me and saying, "Hey, Rose, I need you to share your laptop or your truck with the neighbor." It's like, I'm not going to do that. I'll go buy another laptop and share that one. Or I'll go get another. You can share that other vehicle in the driveway. But I'm not sharing my truck. I'm not gonna, that's what you're asking a kid to do, something really cool to him. So if you're getting mad at them, creating a bad attitude, and it's your fault, think about what is it that they're, go get them something that they are happy to share. I'm not saying go get the junk, but you know what I'm saying. If it's really like their favorite toy, their favorite blanket, their favorite whatever, let's just not bring it out to have to share. It'll be a lot easier. Now, I've sort of rambled on the discipline. It's just then the attitudes and the because I kind of want to touch on some real practical ways that you can stop listening to me ramble here and put to use. So the next time your kid does this, you can do that. But if your kid's got an attitude, it's probably your fault. Probably. Now, I know there's, like I said, there's kids that live at one house one week and they get attitude over there, and then you got to undo the attitude. I get all that. That stuff happens. But but if they're in your house all day, every day, then yeah, yeah. If they're not listening to you, yeah, that's your fault. If the 2-year-old doesn't listen, yeah, that's stuff we can do something about. That's very fixable. Just got to be in position to enforce it. You got to be a person of integrity, which your word has to be golden. If mom or dad says it, it's so. I don't care if it's painful, if it's expensive, if it's time consuming. It doesn't matter. Your word has to be golden, and that means don't touch that, do this, clean your room. Otherwise, if you don't mean what you say, then why would they listen to you anyway? You don't mean it anyway, right? And we don't want to be that person. I want you to be the person that, by golly, if dad says it, you might as well write it down. It's going to happen. And that's something that you can take with you. I would love for you, as your coworkers and your friends and your neighbors and everybody know, hey, if you said it, you might as well put it down. It's gonna happen. Hey, I hope this helps. I always love to talk about parenting and discipline. It's not it. Here's the thing. Whatever it is, like you say, I'm going to spank. I can tell you, if you are a spanker family, uh, if you spank or you're a take away the iPhone family, or you're a timeout family, or whatever it is that you're doing with that particular child, the more you do it early, the less you're going to have to worry about it, whatever it is. So if you are going to spank, if you do it when they're little, you're not going to hurt them. We're not going to break. We're not going to beat them. I'm not talking about anything like that. But if you take if the more it's so much easier to wrap all this around a 2-year-old and a 3-year-old, 4-year-old, 5-year-old than it has to deal with a. You've ignored it. Now you got a 16-year-old with hormones bouncing all around his or her body, right? Who wants to deal with it then? It's so much easier. It's may feel harder when they're little because there's so much going on too, and they're so dependent on you for everything. And it's like, mommy, 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 daddy, daddy, daddy. You have all that too. So there's a lot going on, but it's best to do it when they're little. So when they get to be 7 or 8 and 9, and they're like, no, what mom and dad says is so. I'm gonna be a decent human being. I'm gonna be respectful. And I say a lot of these things that sound like I'm a tyrant. No, I'm not. My kids are my kids would tell you I'm the fun parent. They really would. And my wife laughs. When I do certain things, I said, "You just need to take some notes. This is what it looks like to be the fun parent." I'm the one they go to at 11 and say, "Hey, all my friends are here. Can we go to cookout?" Sure, let's go. And so I'm not asking to be. I'm not being unreasonable. I'm not. Every morning at 5 making them go feed the chickens and we're not doing anything crazy. We're just normal people with normal jobs in life. And but by golly, if you hit your sister, bad things are you don't we don't hit our sister. It's just not going to happen. I'm gonna tell you. I'm gonna tell you. You're not gonna hit your sister. And then if you do, there's consequences. You don't have to wonder at our house. There's a you you there's certain things you don't touch in the house. Like you don't go climb on the counter and get steak knives and throw them against the wall. That's never actually happened in our house. But if you did, guess what? Bad things are going to happen. I'm just talking about all day, every day stuff. You're not going to throw a fit in the grocery store. But we'll leave and we'll deal with it in the car, and then we'll go back and finish grocery shopping. And you'll do it however many times it takes to go back out to the car. And bad things are going to happen. Guess what? I've had to do that, and I didn't have to do it but one time, maybe once per kid, maybe. Hope this helps. I love talking about this stuff. You know, when you have kids that are so respectful and they just can function with humans and they can carry on conversation and you're not having to stop, do this, do it. And it's not a constant. I mean, you're a fun family to be around. People want to be around your kids. Y'all know those families like, oh, we got to go over there, and all they're going to do is yell at their kids and their kids and kids. And we have friends now that their kids still drive everybody crazy. It's like, well, we'd like to go visit with them, but we know if we go over there, all we're going to do is talk to each other while they deal with their kids the whole time. Man, it's just something really cool having a special home and a peaceful home. Kids that are not crazy and They're respectful, not like little soldiers. I got it. No, they're still going to be having fun and play and be be kids. But it's just you know those families that I really don't want to go see this family, but man, this family, I just love them. Their kids are so yeah. That's the kind of family I'm talking about. Hope this helps. And in case you're wondering again, the city behind me is Nashville, Tennessee. Highly recommend it.